Hey everyone! This week on the listserv, we actually saw a surprising amount of hourly wage postings. Not to say that you shouldn't put those on the national listserv, mostly just that I'm surprised. And regarding that, just gonna review all of these, and I'm actually gonna go in order of the experience required. So we have all price points. We have one with masters, one with bachelors, and one that is just asking a high school diploma, which is great. So, yeah, South Dakota, if you haven't already seen this one, over in Black Hills State University, is looking for a master's degree technology and online resources librarian. It's 12-month, reports to the director. You get to do all the software things, it sounds like. So Ghost benefit, primary system administrator, usability studies, liaison. You get to administer and configure the system as well as create reports. You have to be able to troubleshoot and resolve access, be a primary contact for resources, service vendors, user statistics, authentication, do all these other fun subscription information. Yeah, in collaboration with the library director, because you don't normally get to sign off on stuff, but you get to negotiate stuff, which is definitely not something I do in my job, but hey. And then you get, provide access to free online sources, find more, suggested database additions. Fortunately, looks like there's a centralized webmaster, and yeah, that's a double-edged sword sometimes. But you also get to coordinate libguides and libcal, monitor analytics, all the analytics, and figure out how to master the catalog and batch. And as I mentioned, they actually want a master's degree, and understanding what's going on with the resources was also good. Preferred programming languages, productivity, database design, SQL queries, APIs, yeah, preferably Alma Prima or compatible system, which I think their way of putting like the entire enterprise system of some kind that involves like multiple modules. So yeah, it's hard to say what's comparable to that without, making a huge list. So discuss, present your ideas, and that's a-okay. But the pay here is kind of, in my opinion, a little strange. So I was like, is this another attempt to like hide the pay, or do they actually have to do it per hour? Because pretty much every master job I've seen gives a salary range, but this one didn't. And I took the $27 per hour and multiplied that out, and it ends up being about $56,000 a year, which might not be too bad for South Dakota. Yeah, I'm not trying to be harsh on South Dakota. I just don't know how economically active you are right at the moment. So 56 might be okay if you're just starting out or, a few years into the job. Considering the area, which brings me to the next question, where the heck is Spearfish? If you, like me, had no idea where that was, don't feel so bad. So South Dakota, Spearfish is over by Deadwood. It's on the western side of the state. There's Sturgis, so you can hang out with bikers. And it actually jogged like a little thing in the back of my head. I'm like, is that the one that I keep seeing on Fox News that is doing these promo ads to have somebody move to one of the Dakotas? I can't remember which one it was. And yeah, it turns out it is. This is the land of Governor Kristi Noem. So for all those of you who don't watch Fox News, yeah, Governor Kristi Noem is doing these very cute ads where she's like, I'm substituting for being a plumber, and we need more plumbers, so you should come to South Dakota because we have, and I forget what all the benefits are, but, it's like low tax laws and not a lot of overhead, not much regulation. So, yeah, they're trying to get a lot of conservatives to come out to South Dakota, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Kristi Noem is way hot, so I know that shouldn't sway the decision making, but I'm like, yeah, I'd come be a plumber for you. So yeah, that's where Black Hills State University campus is. There's a second location in Rapid City, which did I leave that open? Okay, I think Rapid City is the other. Oh no, it's not the other side of the state. It's further away. So there's one down Rapid City. Maybe that's like 2 hours or an hour and a half. I am terrible at geography, so anyone from South Dakota, feel free to yell at me. It's okay. Yeah. And I think I have gone past and can't see the lines anymore. Good old zoom out. Okay, so we are still in South Dakota. Where was I looking for? one person I knew that I talked to that actually worked in South Dakota was like in the lower half of the state, and now I'm like blanking on the name of the place. But it was one of the bigger ones. So that's the other thing they mentioned. This is like one of the top 10 most livable small towns. And it's also, I think, one of the top 10 towns in or cities in the state of North Dakota, which, yeah, we're not that big where I am, so I shouldn't hate on them. But yeah, finger manipulation, fine finger manipulation. It's interesting the things you have to check in the EEOC boxes. So yeah, you can be kind of blind like I am. You can be in the classroom, and yeah, the usual things. But you're 56,000, I think, at the best on this hourly, and I'm not quite certain why it's hourly if you're 12-month term, and I don't know if it's term or year to year, if that's what's going on, or if this is a trial period. I don't know. It's kind of strange for ones with master's requirements, which will bring me to our next candidate. Sorry, I keep scrolling back up just so everybody can see in case you actually did want it. This is the posting number. Feel free to go check it out. All right, so the second one, oh, yes, I am A-okay, Wisconsin. Came through the other day, and this is Wisconsin-Madison, land of cold. Not exactly super, super warm. Yeah. Nothing wrong with Madison. Madison's actually kind of nice. I've been up in Madison. So this is partially remote, so I'm kind of like you can come in and come out maybe. But this is acquisition, so I'm not going to comment too much on the job description because I don't do acquisitions, and that was like the thing I've run away from because I'm like, I'll figure out systems and how things look up before I have to deal with money. Yeah, dyslexias and money does not work. So process incoming shipments, ongoing, guiding student staff. They basically sort of throw two positions in like one job description, which is yeah, kind of interesting. I guess they're trying to pay them about the same. So previous library experience preferred but not required. Lots of transferable skills, which is kind of how we write our staff positions at the university I'm at, because in our case, we're like, we're not going to find anyone with a library background. I'm like, well, you might be surprised. But that's a lot of outreach on my part where I'm like, hey, somebody come help us. You know things. Then we get into the whole social justice thing and what exactly you're going to do, complex support, policies, non-routine questions. Ain't that the truth? Non-routine questions are all I do. At the time it gets to me, it's the weirdest and somebody make a decision. Anyway, utilizes the design systems and standards, create invoices, reporting data, hiring, training, contributes to development of policies, committee work. Oh yeah, invoice queues. Oh yeah, this is exciting stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not an acquisitions person. I'm not trying to be mean. Internal financial records, communicates with vendors, staff, librarians, payment records, vendor records, monitoring projects. Yep. These are all very important things. Like I said, I'm not knocking anyone in acquisitions. It is not my jam. I have a relative that is a CPA, and actually our student work right now is trained to become an accountant of some kind. And I find forensic accounting fascinating, but I cannot do that day to day. I just, the numeric dyslexia. I'm like, at least with ISBNs, if I'm off, or if I'm off on most of my other identifiers, it's not going to cause us to be broke. So I've always been like, no, thank you, acquisitions. Licensing's kind of interesting, but yeah, trying to figure out if we're getting the money's worth. I'm not so excited by that. All right. So we have bachelor's degree preferred. So interestingly, you probably could be not have a bachelor's degree, be out of high school. Ability to lift 50 pounds. So apparently they want someone who can schleff the books. You will be schleffing books, which is totally fine. So the computer, again, bachelor's degree. Can you meet some deadlines? Can you work with people? Demonstrate ability to make independent decisions. Can you make a call if you need to make a call? Because sometimes people ain't around. It does have the opportunity for remote work, 3 days on-site, 2 days remote. Yay! That's pretty much what I've been like trying to promote. Like, seriously, save the gas, save the environment, let people come, do some stuff, have the meetings you want to have the, random collaborations you want to have, but don't make everybody be on-site 5 days. Now, granted, you have to flex out like who's on site when and this, that, and the other, but I feel like this is where we're going to as a country. But anyway, so this is ongoing renewable, which Yeah. Okay. I feel like that's like at will, but maybe you get a contract for X amount of time. 19 hours hourly, which isn't too bad, I guess. I did not multiply this one out, unfortunately, so we'll do that now. Just so everybody can get some idea of how the heck I'm coming up with these numbers too. Because some people are like, what are you doing? So we have 19 times 80 hours in a paycheck times 26 pay periods in a year. So this one actually averages out at 39,000 hourly, depending on qualifications. So you could be higher. And this is in Wisconsin-Madison, which that's actually it's not a great salary, but you could manage. Again, if you don't have a family, or if you do have a family and have a second salary, you might be fine. Cover letter, general tech services, and then we get into the exciting stuff. All right. So last but not least, and I totally should have turned teams off. All right. Is the circ technician over at the College of Law and Law Library over in Moscow, Idaho. Fair warning, I've heard a lot of conservatives moving to Moscow and the surrounding area in Idaho. I don't know if it's like replacing New Hampshire as the libertarian mecca, but yeah. If you do this, there's conservatives out there, just fair warning. Quintessential college town, northern Idaho. See, I'd be into that, but yeah, they got other legal reasons why I wouldn't move. But high school diploma or equivalent, and yeah. The other one said they'd prefer a bachelor's degree, but this is like what are like just the basics. And that's not bad. I actually found out recently they're being on a hiring search committee from someone else who was explaining to me the grades of like public librarians in my state, and I'm like, wait, you're telling me you could run a public library just a high school education? They're like, yeah, but they're not well funded. You're not getting paid much to do that, and it's basically volunteering. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it would have saved me like I don't know. I'm still in grad school debt right now, so I'm sitting there going, I feel like I wasted 5 to 10 years and could have just been, working in the middle of nowhere, running a library, having fun instead of driving away. Anyway, so ability to lift, carry, move up to 50 pounds, must be able to show up the books. Again, this is a circ job, so yeah, I'm not expecting a ton of money or a ton of experience required. 16.32 an hour or higher. So we got this one was like 39. I think this one ended up being about 34. So again, 80, assuming you're working a full week, 26 pay periods in a year. So yeah, that one ends up being about 34,000. It is full-time type of appointment fiscal year, so that sounds like you're at least guaranteed 1 year of employment. So I guess that's a plus. Yeah, the usual background check. We have to make sure you are not a criminal. So one mini side story about that. So the place I worked in Ohio, the community college I worked at, had of all the things, we had to sign when we were hired in like this 3-page double-sided list of organizations that we had to swear that we weren't a part of. Yeah, so it was stuff like, the People's Liberation Army and things, a lot of communist parties in various other countries. Because I remember reading through it and being like, so I can be a communist party member in the United States as long as it's not one of these other countries, I'm okay. Yeah, it was very strange, but I remember having to sign this like long thing. I don't know if it was the result of September 11th or just something someone thought was a good idea. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here because there's now a live Yellow Jacket in my home office, and I don't know why. Yeah.